Have a few minutes? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank. Brave the beginning. Member FDIC.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio. Mike Salmon alongside Stephen Julian. We are broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. And Stephen, I am excited about today's show because Ben Armstrong is joining us. He's the co-creator and co-founder of Netherworld, the best haunted house in the world.
Absolutely.
Right here in our area.
Absolutely. And been here a long time, and this is his first time on the show. We've interviewed a ton of different business leaders and business owners, and we've had some great interviews. I love it when a unique business comes in, and when you think unique business, I hope you're thinking of Netherworld because it's not only unique, it's amazing and awesome.
And they're celebrating 25 years, and that's a part of the celebration and why Ben is here today. But before we talk to Ben, let's take care of some housekeeping business.
Absolutely. We want to remind all of our listeners that we all know keeping your company's financial future on track means having the right resources to support your growth. Regions Commercial Banking offers you lending capabilities and strategic solutions tailored to your needs, and you'll work with a team of experienced bankers here in Gwinnett. Discover steps to take that can help move you closer to your business goals. Regions is here to help. To learn more, visit regions.com/commercial-banking. Regions Bank.
Member FDIC.
That's what I said.
Ben Armstrong, again, the co-creator and co-founder of Netherworld Haunted House. And Ben, when you walked in this morning to the studio, I was almost hoping you'd have a couple monsters or whatever behind you. By the way, we've got some sound effects that we'll just play in the background, and we want to make you feel right at home.
That's great. I appreciate it.
So tell us all about Netherworld. 25 years. You don't look a day over 24.
Oh, my gosh. You're so kind. You're so kind. You wouldn't think that way if I was wearing my normal outfit, which is some sort of hideous creature, rotting.
I was hoping you'd bring a couple creatures with you.
Well, I can always arrange to have them visit you unexpectedly.
That would be the Netherworld way.
Yeah, suspense and terror. Well, Netherworld Haunted House, 25 years this year. It's definitely been quite a trek. We had very humble beginnings. We just loved haunted houses, and we did our thing, and here we are surviving all these long years. So it's definitely a treat to made it to this moment. Yeah.
For those people listening who've never had the opportunity or the chance or taken advantage of the opportunity to go to Netherworld, they've probably been to a haunted house, but what sets Netherworld apart? Try to paint a picture for them before they get there.
The thing about Netherworld, when we began so long ago, haunted houses were sort of loose connections of bits of movies. You might have a Freddy and a Jason and these kind of just disconnected rooms. But the thing about Netherworld was it had a consistent story. It was all interlinked, and the creatures were unique. So there was a creativity there that we put into it. And we had all these people from the movie and television industries. So the creatures were things that you would see in a horror movie or just creations of our deep imagination. So when people went there, even the name Netherworld, like, what is that about? It's not like, the House of Fear or something like that. It was something strange and evocative. And we've always been sort of drawn to think horrors of, literary or mythological nature. So it's really intriguing to kind of dig deep and to come up with that new stuff. And it's sort of the way the industry is now. The whole industry has kind of evolved to themed attractions where an attraction is based on a concept, or a portion of it is. And it's sort of the trend. And we were one of the early ones to have done that.
25 years you've been. By the way, we're just going to turn off the sound effects. I think that's going to be more bothersome than helping anything.
Is it bothering you, Mike?
Well, I thought it might enhance things, but it just kind of bothers me.
Well, I was loving it. I kind of liked it. But hey, listen, it's your show. You're
Well,
the host.
Ben's the guest. Did you like the stuff in the background, or you just?
Whatever you guys like.
I think he's used to distractions at running a haunted house.
We were doing a full sound check and tech walk last night, so I'm used to hearing all these things.
The last thing you want to do is hear the sound effects in the background the whole time we're doing this show. But
sure.
So Amanda made an executive decision. We're nixing the sound effects.
So blame it on Amanda. Okay, gotcha. All right, go ahead. Ask your
I'm
question.
not blaming. I'm crediting her for making the good executive decision.
Sorry.
25 years. What has set you guys apart from other haunted houses? What's been the key to your success?
Well, like with any business, it takes all your time, all your money, all your talent, and a lot of luck. And that's definitely what went on here. But I think we had a really good mix of people at the beginning. We built a very strong team, people who knew how to build, people who knew fire code, all that kind of real-world stuff, people who knew business, and then also just a high level of creativity and just an incredible drive to succeed. When you're in a business that long, you're constantly having obstacles that go in front of you throughout these long years, and you just have to every day get up and just go at it full force, with the goal of success. And it's also extremely customer focused, but it's also internally creative. I have a lot of things, philosophical things I like to say. One is give them what they want and give them what you want. So when people come to a haunted house, they want darkness, they want jump scares, they want chainsaws, and you have to give them what they want, but also you have to give them what you want, the creative things, the bizarre, the strange. Like, what is that? I've never seen that before. And when they walk away, they can tell their friends, like, yeah, it was a haunted house and I got scared, but this gigantic mouth almost ate me. I've never seen anything like that. And so it's that providing a customer-based thing of, this is what I want. I want to have a fall festival and seasonal thing, but I also want to see something that's never been seen before.
And you're giving that to your customers the second they park the car, because even when you're in line, there's things happening out in the parking lot.
Oh, absolutely. I like to think of it as having, so we have 2 haunted attractions at Netherworld. It's been a tradition for a very long time, but I like to think of a third, which is the entire outdoor experience. We have wandering, what we call lot monsters, and they're all over the place. I mean, they could be, you're walking up, they could be right there behind a tree, they could be anywhere. When you're in the line, they're entertaining you. When you exit to our midways, they're there for photo ops. They're also there scaring, performing, and entertaining. So it's as though there's 3 separate attractions.
Photo ops as well as scaring. I like the dichotomy of that. I like that a lot. Normally we give all the information at the end, and we certainly want to do that, but we're just about 5 minutes into the interview, and I think already there are people, again, if they haven't been yet, let's make sure everybody knows where you're at and when you're open first. So go ahead and give that information now, and we'll do it again at the end.
Sure. The best way to find us, of course, we're very well indexed on anywhere you look for Netherworld Haunted House. Our website is fearworld.com. There you can find all the information you need to come and see us. Tickets are now on sale. We've moved to a time ticketing model. Previously, for many years, it was mainly general admission.
Yeah.
I mean, people could just, even when you bought a ticket online, it was a general admission ticket. You could come whenever. But in recent years, we've discovered that the time ticketing, especially last year, was very essential to be able to control the flow of people through the attraction. So you can go there, you can pick out your date, your time, and get your tickets that you want. We open in about September 24th is our opening weekend, and then we're open most of October. Traditionally, we were open every single night in October. This year, we're taking off Mondays and the first Tuesday. And we're open several weekends into November. We have approximately 34 nights of operation this season, which is it's a pretty hefty amount for people who want to come. And like I said, they're all over the map. They're spread over 3 months, but October is the meat and potatoes. That's when we're open like almost every day.
And you talked about so being able to adjust with the technology of the time ticketing. You knew probably early on in those first few years that you had something when you were selling general admission only tickets, and people would stand in line for a long. I can remember driving by at your old location right off of 85 and seeing the lines and going, "Oh man, there's a lot of people liking Netherworld tonight because standing there."
Yeah, it's amazing how popular Netherworld has become over the years. It's really become a tradition for a lot of people, and People met there on their first date. Now they have kids, and they're bringing their kids there. It became a rite of passage. Kids would be like, I'm not old enough to go to Netherworld, but I can't wait until I go. And what's really gratifying is when I'm interviewing people to work at the attraction. And we're doing a last round of interviews next week. But I'm interviewing people, and they're like, I've been there for years. I love Netherworld. And that's just like, you love it? That emotion, there's like an emotional attachment to, and it's extremely gratifying. You're making something that's supposed to be terrifying to people. Like, I love it. It's like, that's pretty cool.
But by the same token, they have entered the realm of what got you started and what has kept you working on the project for 25 years and beyond. Is they're now owning it themselves and they want to be a part of it. But I was going to ask, I would assume one of the other things to the success of Netherworld, you started it, you and a few others started it 25 years ago. I would imagine there's a team of people that has been around a long time. Maybe the entire 25 years, maybe a lot more than half of those years. Is that the case, that there's a core group that has kind of been built up that, I can't imagine what else I would do during October every year?
Yeah, we have an incredible staff. We have a number of people on our very core staff that are here since the beginning, all 25 years, in all kinds of core areas. Our group of people who work at Netherworld are collectively called the Netherspawn. That's the name of our actors and our crew. And so every year at the end of the season, we give out awards. And the people who have been there for 5 years are called elders. The people who have been there 10 years are ancients. The people who have been there 15 years are primordials. So people proudly sport their primordial patches. And a large group of the primordials are going like, hey, that's a 15-year. We've been here this long. We need to have a new patch. I'm like, man, what is more ancient than a primordial? I don't know. We'll have to work on that one. But yeah, there's definitely a massive staff of people that have been there. I tried to calculate. I mean, at probably our largest grouping, not last year, but the year before last, we might have had as many as 500 people that worked there over the course of the season. Because there's of course, there's tons of seasonal positions in addition to all the year-round ones. So a lot of people who work there, and a lot of people work there a very long time.
I wonder what the thing is that's called that for people who believe in the Big Bang. What is that called at the very beginning? That essence that started it all. That would be the next patch, right? If you've been there longer,
I guess. Yeah.
But you can't go any farther than that, right?
Yeah, at the beginning of time.
Past that would be some nether region, right? So anyway,
indeed. We have a lot of other, it's fun to develop customs like that.
Yeah.
Like we have this thing we started when we came to our new location called the Column of Destiny. And it's this giant railroad tie. And every night we'll pick somebody to hammer a nail into it. So, it's almost like they're building the attraction. They're adding their portion to it. So, we rotate it every year, and then it's going to be just covered with these. But it's sort of, we started with all the people who've been there the longest, and then people did a really good job, and sometimes folks who come and visit us from other haunted houses, friends of ours, and all hammer their nail into this column, and everyone's like cheering.
All right, we're speaking with Ben Armstrong. He is one of the founders of Netherworld Haunted House, Haunted Region, outside a wonderful attraction celebrating 25 years here in Atlanta. The standard interviewer would probably ask you 25 years of stories, 25 years of monsters, probably ask you, hey, what's your favorite? I'm going to ask you, what monster that I know you probably don't regret any of it, but any one monster that either never got off the drawing board and you're glad it never got off the drawing board, or it did get off the drawing board, and after it happened, you're like, I'm sure glad there are hundreds of monsters at this, because that really wasn't a good idea. It's
interesting. When we started, it's like anything. It's like a band. It's like a business. You kind of find your way. And the first couple of years, we were Netherworld, and we had our story. And the story is, there's another dimension, and it cracks into ours, and it causes different storylines and effects, and it kind of flows onward. But our first real success with an icon character was probably when we did Inner Sanctum. We had this crazy doctor who could speak, and it was a makeup that I wore, but it was difficult. Several hours to put the prosthetic on. Then we were like, oh, we can create a character with a mask that fit me that would move with my face. I could just pop on and be all these characters. So we started creating these icon characters, and they became very popular. Essentially, it's like Mickey Mouse, It took a couple of years, and we sort of perfected our icon character that's our primary one. He's called the Collector. He's in a top hat. He's a skeleton-type creature. Our very first year, we had a character like that we called him Top Hat, but he didn't have any particular part of the story. So you have these icon characters, and the purpose is that you can wear them and speak to the customers. You can speak to the media. You can be a character. But then as we go further along, you want to get different because we're creative, and you make these characters that are inhuman. So we had these things one time called the Banshees. They had no eyes. They were completely a monster. And it's like, how am I going to go do an interview? I don't even have hands. I got spikes. I'm like, I can't see anything. It's like all I can do is shriek and wail. It's not very efficient, to communicate with the media. You can scare people.
Well, Chewbacca has done it all these years.
That's
I don't
true.
know why the Banshee couldn't.
At least, though, he has sort of that puppy look, that would draw people in. But the Banshee was very monstrous. So occasionally, we'll create a character, and I'll come up with this thing. I'm like, this is going to be great. My business partner's like, does it have eyes? Can it talk? I'm like, maybe not. He's like, well, maybe we should change that one. So it's when we get a little too weird, a little too off the human for the icon characters. Those are the ones I regret because they're kind of tough to do my work in.
Right.
I want to kind of share the experience for people when you walk in the haunted houses there and what they're going to experience. Now, first off, we want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, the characters and the monsters, they jump out in front of you or they come from behind. You don't know where they're coming from. Sometimes they're coming from above. You got to pay attention, but they can't touch any of the customers. Correct?
That's right. So, Netherworld it's an interesting attraction. It's very scary from a shocking perspective, as in things are suddenly appearing. There's loud noises, there's sudden motion, there's huge things that look like they're going to crush you. There's a lot of that going on. Now we do things that are, there's blood and things like that, but we don't focus on things being exceptionally gross. There's a lot of, we try to keep the content away from being something that is inappropriate. I mean, the scare level is extremely high, but part of that is you don't touch people. Particularly, you don't touch them as a human being. We don't grab a person. Now, there are times, and we've kind of backed off of it in the world we're in right now, but we do sometimes have inanimate objects that may brush you, shall I say. I mean, in the past, we've had giant engulfing things like a huge heart you'd walk through that you'd have to push through it, or things of that nature, or maybe a gigantic mouth that just might munch on you or something. But a human being is not going to grab you because that's like a violation of people's personal space, and they don't tend to like that.
And there's so many hallways and things to go through that you mentioned a couple right there. Sometimes I assume your actors have to also act like guides and say, okay, you need to go through this door here now.
It's ironic when people go into the haunted house, so they're in line, all they want to do is get in the door. The minute they get in the door, all they want to do is get out. That is it. They'll come into the room, and all they're looking for, okay, I'm in a room, I see something cool, but I don't care about that. Where's the actor and where's the exit of this room? And so the perfect room is something where the exit is not apparent instantly. You can't make it to where they can't get out because then you're ruining the throughput, right? You don't want to do that. But you want to have a moment of doubt, like, oh, how do I get out of this room? And then in that moment of confusion that the actor can suddenly appear and scare them. But yeah, actors often do have to move people out. It's funny, too. We have a lot of figures that are not actors. There could be animations, they could be static figures, and people go up and talk to them. They'll walk up.
Well, that shows you're doing well.
Yeah, there was like some
so
creepy
realistic
corpse on the wall, and I remember I was hiding there one time. I was a werewolf, but I was gray, and I kind of sunk into the wall because my fur was everywhere. It was almost like a ghillie suit. It was great. I was sitting there, and this guy walks up to this dummy next to me. He's like, oh, my girlfriend's coming. Her name is Martha. I want you to get her. I mean, he's talking to a dummy, and I'm like, this is pretty hilarious.
I was thinking of the actors, we're all going to kill you. By the way, the door's right there.
That's
on the
right.
Go ahead. So
yeah.
We'll see you in the next room.
That's the thing. You can't, you always got to, you can't give up that power. Like, if you don't kill somebody, where's your power? It's like, I'm going to kill you later when it gets darker.
Just now's not the right time.
That's right. If I was going to kill you now, if I come at you with an axe and I'm going to chop you, and I don't, I'm like, well, I guess the moment's over, you know? So it's...
Well, I do want to hear some of the stories, and Stephen referenced earlier, maybe you're tired of telling some stories, but I mean, have there been times where people have gone through and then they just freeze up, and you've got to... Is there emergency exits to help take them out?
Oh, absolutely. Or? I mean, we've been going a long time, and it's essentially a science. This is like a fear machine you're entering. It's like a conveyor belt of terror, and things are just leaping at you. But we have copious amounts of emergency exits because we're always watching. We have a big camera system. We have a control room. We have different characters in that control room that we launch forward. We have two particular types this year that will help customers. We have what's called Ushers, and we have what's called Ropers. Now, what Ushers are, they're people dressed as a normal human being, and they have a flashlight, and if they sense a problem, they will go and they will help the person as a person. Mm-hmm. If someone's going really slow because they're terrified or whatever reason, we have Ropers, and so they have a rope, and they hand them the rope, and they go, here, grab this, and they start pulling them, and people just hold onto the rope, and we pull them through, and it like drags them along. Or if they're afraid, they'll be like, oh, well, I'll help you get through, and they'll help the person, move through the attraction. So we're watching the flow. We're also prepared to, and the exits are copious. I mean, they're everywhere. So you'll see them. It's probably the one thing that'll take you out of your bubble, but it's important because we operate on a system of the 4 keys like Disney, and the first most important thing is safety. It's safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. That's the order. So people talk about, oh, you never break character as an actor. I tell my actors, yes, in fact, you do break character. If there's a safety issue, you absolutely break character. If there was someone who is actually having a really bad time, or they're having a problem, or they lost their phone, or they're very concerned, courtesy, it's important. You would break character because what we want is people to get scared and have a good time. But that's it. We don't want them to go away with a bad experience. So we're there. It's customer service by scaring people.
And Stephen mentioned earlier...
Hang on. That's the greatest hashtag I'm going to hear in at least a week, maybe a month. It's customer service through scaring people.
You got to give your customers what they want.
That's
it.
If
you're selling hamburgers, you give them a hamburger.
Everyone in line knows what they're in for.
That's right.
That's the beauty of what you're doing. And so then you can give a nod and a wink to, we'll take care of you. We're also going to scare the crap out of you, hopefully.
Well, the intriguing thing is you're not dealing with individual people. You're dealing with a group. It's this organically created group, and everyone has a role in that group. Usually there's what we call the ringleader, and they're the one who set it up. They're like, okay, we're going to Netherworld, and they start picking their team. Like, oh, you're the detail expert. You'll love all the cool stuff. Oh, you're a big chicken. I want you to scream. It's going to be hilarious. Oh, you think you're the tough guy. Let's see if you can make it. And they literally will build their team. We have the offerer and the offering. The offerer is like, scare my girlfriend. And the girlfriend's like, no, But sometimes it goes the other way around. It's hilarious. But what's amazing is if you have this group of people with all their own goals and motivations, and then they get out and you created this memory and they're talking about it. Oh, this all happened. And hopefully you create new ringleaders. And they go, this was great. I'm going to get my other group of friends. And now I'm going to pick this guy because he's a big chicken. It's going to be hilarious watching him go through. And the ringleaders often, they're not even looking at the haunted house anymore. They're looking at their friends go through the haunted house. So it's really intriguing, all the psychology that goes into something like this.
About how many customers are you bringing through every season?
It's a very erratic and moving target. Like last season was very different.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we were thrilled last year just to get open, and we brought our numbers way down. But when we're at peak, the other thing is a huge factor is weather. Last couple of years, particularly the last 2 years, we've had ridiculous amounts of rainfall, and that really hurts us, particularly when we were in the primarily general admission, because almost the vast majority of people come on the peak nights, Fridays and Saturdays in late October. We have all this inventory, and people don't come. Now with time ticketing, we're hopeful to move people to these. But like on a slower night, several hundred. On a busy night, several thousand. The number we generally put out is on a regular year, usually about 75,000 plus.
Are you aware of anyone who's gone maybe 100 plus times in their lifetime? Or is there anybody out there that you're aware of?
There are
that's
definitely
like a record holder.
Well,
yeah, they come to get a job.
Yeah,
they're
they
like,
do.
I love this
They
place.
do.
I've been 25 times.
they're definitely a bunch of super fans. It's kind of like, for Universal Studios horror nights or things like that. There's people who, the opening night, you look and there they are in the line. You're like, hey, you're here already. So there's definitely super fans, and there's people that come back multiple times.
I know I've been enough times because I recognize some of the characters, so I know I've been there plenty of times.
They have their favorites. I mean, some of the actors are portraying icons, and the icons revolve. Like, it might be a different actor. One actor might play that icon for several years and then pass it on to another. Some are unique characters that become extremely popular. Like, we have this one that one guy plays. It's the Krampus. It's that Christmas monster we've all heard about, and he's just a great actor, and he's just really engaging. But he's big and scary, but he's really friendly, and everyone loves him. And so, but no one else plays him. He's him. And when he's there, and then people come, is the Krampus here? I'm like, he's not here tonight. But, but they're very excited when they see their favorites. But there's so many of them that are there, like I said. And the icons, they're generally always there, the critical ones. Then we have things like the sliders. Those are the guys that they're very athletic, and they run, and they slide, and they showers of sparks.
You see sparks coming up.
So there's a huge variety of the parking lot characters. And in the interior, there's a whole variety. Like, we have our stunt actors that fly overhead on zip lines or on wires. We have the puppeteers that may operate the giant mouths and things that are going to bite you. We have the greeter types that are going to tell you the storyline. We have the shock scare ones that are just going to scare.
One time I came out, I thought we were done, and then I thought it was a plant. It was a fern.
Yes.
Somebody jumped out of the fern.
We call that the ambush.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Actually, I need to bring that back this year.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
you should.
I should.
Get on that.
This year, our main show is called Rise of the Netherspawn, and our whole goal is to bring back a lot of these classic characters. And we're also kind of setting up a whole new, decade of stories about what's going to be happening. But we're definitely doing that. There's a lot of the old icon costumes we're getting refined. So throughout the show, there'll be a lot of those. We're also bringing back some of the classic scenes maybe we haven't done in a couple years, or little nods to
after the unique year you guys had last year, we all had last year.
Right.
Good opportunity to kind of, reset. Maybe
it is.
Maybe get back to your root. Well, I'm not going to say get back to your roots, because you guys don't need to do that. The whole thing is based on your roots. But kind of reset some of the characters, reset some of the stories. Mike, I want to know how many selfies you have of all the times you've gone to Netherworld.
I got lots of photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the monsters.
And I would imagine your kids have, because they're part of the experience as well.
Yep. We go every year. We're looking forward to going this year, the 25th anniversary. But I want to ask a question too, because I could have sworn that I've also gone at other times of the year when it wasn't Halloween. Haven't you done some other things?
Absolutely. We are open year-round now in our new location. So what we've gotten into the escape game business. So we have currently 4 escape games. We have a 5th one that is very close to opening. It'll probably open a month or so after the season. But these escape games all have, your Netherworld themes. We have, a vampire-themed one. We have one called Haunted. It's sort of a ghost theme. We have Sasquatch, which is a Bigfoot theme. And we have, because we're tiki enthusiasts, I've got to say, we have Tiki Island as well. But then the subtitle is Attack of the Shark God. So, of course, there's a scary component to it. Also, we've opened a year-round laser tag arena on our property.
Oh, wow.
So you can go now, we got into laser tag because we wanted to do kind of hybrid events where we would take the lasers and we put the headbands on the monsters, and so when the monsters come out, it does damage to you and you got to fight your way through. It had an interactive element. And we've
so laser tag with monsters.
Yes. We've done that before a couple times, but we've actually found that people just love laser tag as it is, but it's a very apocalyptic kind of outdoor arena, and it's actually open during the season, so it's like a shorter version, so you want to test that out. It's like a 10-15 minute game you could play with your friends. And
for those people listening who've done the escape room, and we actually did it as Radio X one time, and I'm not knocking anybody else's escape room, but I don't think anyone will touch Netherworld's escape rooms with their characters, and you've gone a lot beyond just a simple room with some good paintings. I mean, you guys tell a good story.
Thank you.
So, I mean, that's got to be that's where you want to go for escape.
There's moments sometimes in those games, and I I don't always get to watch them every day, but once in a while I will. Like in the Sasquatch one in particular, you find these tapes, and you put them in a tape recorder. It's fun watching younger people struggle with this unusual device. In one of the games, there's also a typewriter, which is likewise very confusing. But anyway, they play this tape, and it's this creepy thing. Kind of reminds you of Evil Dead, the movie, when they're playing the tape.
Yep.
And they're listening, and this whole thing, and it's just building up to this melodramatic moment, and then, like, the Bigfoot starts attacking the building. And it is so, like, cinematic. It's hilarious to watch people just freak out. It's pretty fun.
When you have good storytelling techniques and talent, use it in every way you can, and it's awesome that you've been able to use this property beyond just the fall season and the haunted house. I like it.
And I know all this information is on the website. Absolutely. You said it was fearworld.com. Now, what happens if you type in netherworld.com? Does that go to some other haunted house?
Well, if you type in Netherworld anywhere on Google, it's going to guide you to us. We've been trying to get that name for years.
Right. Obviously.
I think it's a coffee shop in the Netherlands or something.
What?
So you better have your passport up to date if you could go to that one.
I don't want to go there.
Well, it's
I want to go to
probably cool.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's wonderful. But they're not listening. It's okay.
That's
you
right.
You can.
That's right.
We'll fight that battle for you.
One day they'll relent and sell it to us.
Absolutely.
There you go. Well, Ben Armstrong has been our guest. He's the co-creator, co-founder of Netherworld Haunted House. Ben, any parting thoughts or anything else you want to leave us with?
Absolutely.
And by the way, before I say that, I know. I asked
a
a
question
and they say, "Wait, don't answer it just yet."
Okay,
hang on. Wait, we'll kill you later.
Pause.
We asked you before the show, as we're doing the show. It's early September. This is the time where you start kind of panicking a little bit, don't you? Because now you're getting ready for your season.
Well, I wouldn't call it panic. I'd call it a reasonable concern about being completely prepared. How about that?
I like that.
Wow,
I like that.
I'm gonna write that down.
That's right. I mean, people tell me, they're like, "Oh, I went to Michael's and I saw a pumpkin." I'm like, No, not yet. It's like,
give me another week.
Yeah. It is such an operation that we have going. I mean, we've done so much with both attractions. We're prepping the whole property for all these people to be there. The other day I was setting, barricades and stuff with a barricade company. And then we're hiring people. It's like any major event. It's just a huge ramp up, and every day, every moment, every minute is like, oh God, the punch list, the people, it's crazy.
When that first pumpkin comment comes from Michael's, you realize I've gone from pre-planning to now I'm planning.
Yeah.
Now it's the clock has started. Oh crap.
What's really unnerving is you're in summer and like there's a cool day. And like the wind blows, like, what a beautiful day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
What a beautiful day! No!
Your whole body tenses up. You're like, it's like it's fall. This is so horrible.
A leaf falls off a tree, and you're like, oh son of a.
For everybody like me who hates sweating through Georgia summers and enjoys that first cool day, it's good to know that I'm going to remember. Oh, somewhere Mr. Armstrong is not enjoying this day as much as I am, because it means the page is turning.
Well, you do like it because it's one of the wonders of having this sort of business is because it's cyclical. You have this, I want to build this haunted house, and you build it for months and months and months, and you're like, I'm ready to run this haunted house. And you run it, you're like, we're open. And, after 34 days, you're like, all right, the end is near.
Start counting the days.
Yeah, and then the off season, and then you're like, oh, I'm bored, I want to build, and you have this cycle, which is wonderful. One thing I did want to mention, I mentioned Rise of the Netherspawn, our primary attraction, but our secondary attraction is called Return to Planet X in 3D, where you wear special 3D glasses. It used to be something we did back at the old location. We did one throwback a couple years ago, the year before we left, so we're back to the crazy 3D glasses, the weird optical effects, because that was a big part of our history and wanted to kind of capture that.
All right, so here's my I'm allowed to ask one weird question where Mike caused the guest to walk out, and I haven't done it yet, so I think we're nearing the end. I better ask it now.
It's a good time to walk out.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Accountants always take that vacation right after tax time. They get through the craziness of tax time, and then they all take a week or two. I'm guessing somewhere around November. Is that where you go? All right, that's it. I'll see you in 5 weeks.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Okay.
Because what often happens is we go, hey, let's do a Christmas show. And then we have to convert the whole haunted house to Christmas. And we're like, okay, cool. Then we go, let's do a Valentine's show. And we convert the whole thing to Valentine's. In this particular off season, it's going to be like, we're going to launch that Fifth Escape game which we were so close, and it is so epic. I'm very excited by it. It's incredibly intense and scary and extremely high tech, but it was like there was a point there was like, you know, we can't. Escape games require a lot of tweaking and play testing. So,
Yeah.
but we're going to try and launch that game. So
Will
I don't know.
Take a day at some point. Please,
yes,
for me?
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the day our opening weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Then we have our an orientation, and then that Monday will be a day too.
And now that you're doing stuff all year round, obviously you don't get to take 2 or 3 weeks, but maybe in the summer you could, take
I think
a week
there's a spring window there where all the stuff is done and everything is getting planned, and you're like, okay, maybe I can go.
Going off grid.
Yeah, I get to go to Walmart today. It's one of those deals.
The Valentine's is the haunted house I went to one time for Valentine's. So, because to me, nothing says I love you more than having a monster chase you with a chainsaw.
Absolutely. I mean,
so
Valentine's is red.
We
as
did that
blood.
with my honey.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Fearworld.com is the website. Ben, congratulations on 25 years. We can't wait to go again, this year as we do every year. So we're one of the regulars. And for anyone who's never been, and I've been to many haunted houses, it is the best. And Stephen, you're shaking your head too.
Absolutely. It's not even close. It's not even close. If you've only been to a few haunted houses, or you went to some cheesy one, or you went to someone that, I guess that was okay. You've never seen anything like
nationally,
this.
You're pretty much recognized as one of the top in the country.
Yeah, pretty much for a long time we've gotten a lot of national acclaim, and it's kind of, like I said, it's very gratifying, and it's been from all kinds of different sources over the long years, and so many people have come to this attraction over the long years. So it's certainly, it's very cool. Every year we're on all these different lists that just pop up. Also, a lot of haunt reviewers, people who just love haunts, they'll travel the country and they'll go to 50 or 60 haunted houses in a year, and usually, quite often, we're the top one, if not in the top grouping of them, depending on what their tastes are in haunted houses. So.
Don't go to a Broadway show. You've got much better than that here. Just go to Netherworld.
Well, you walk, even when you're in line. Not only are you entertained by all the performers out there in the parking lot, but then you start going through the kind of the museum area. And all I'm thinking is, there's been a lot of money spent here.
Yes.
So you've invested a lot of money. This stuff's not cheap, but it's amazing. And Ben, it's great to meet you. Thank you for coming by and joining us here on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ben Armstrong with Netherworld Haunted House. Again, the website, fearworld.com. If you go, you will not be disappointed.
I feel like I have to end the show, or help end the show, with something maybe not haunted, and that is Subaru. Because this show does come to you from the Subaru of Gwinnett Studios. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Enjoy big savings and a hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today. Or come in and see the difference. You will not have a horror experience. You will have a wonderful experience at Subaru of Gwinnett. And visit their Facebook page for the latest news, offers, and community events. Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Not nether people. Not people who are, not sounds of manducation.
All
in the
right, for
background.
Steve and Julian, I'm Mike Salmon. I want to thank our guest, Ben Armstrong, and thank you, Amanda, for producing. Oh, did I cut you off? Sorry. We got to go. Time's up.
Yeah. You enjoyed this interview. That's why we went long.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was well worth it.
All right, and follow us on social media. I'm being told to do
There's
that.
another show coming after us. We got to get out of here.
Gwinnett Radio X. We'll see you next time here on Business Radio X.